Teachers, and you're listening to Show X Live with Ken in a student accommodation all the way in Scotland, and Wade in his white windowless van? Uh-oh, I better get out of here. Enjoy the show!
Goodbye.
Oh, look at that. That's terrible. Yeah, and end of the show. So
Noob! With 24 exclamation points to the back of it. That's right. That's how smart I am.
I see what happened. What the heck just happened? Weird things are going nuts over here.
Just hit pause. Stop it.
That is so weird. Wait. Why is that coming through like that? Oh, I know what's happening. Aha. I found it. I found the problem. Okay. I fixed that. Well, I fixed a problem. There's a few problems going on. One of which is that recently I had a bunch of network changes. I tried to work on my computer and make things a little, like to update it and make things happen. And so in doing so, it completely jacked up the links I have to all of my backgrounds and stuff like that.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Oh, no. So the problem is I thought I had updated them all. And then and I was doing that during the music pre-show where I was like, oh, let me do this, let me do that, and I will totally have this ready to go. And then I didn't. And so let me just go, bam! Oh, there it is. There's the background music. And so I had to go through. It was terrible because all the songs, all the music, everything for the stuff is saved on my server, which is networked in, and so I've got it through a network drive. And the problem was that when I had to remap the drives because of the stuff I added to my computer, it completely changed like the base drive connections, and they were interfering. So I had to reset the network drives to completely different letters. Which so every link I was relying on that was going to that drive directly has just been completely screwed up. I'm afraid to open like my iTunes and stuff like that because it's all completely jacked. And so I got into SAM and started setting it up, and I got it all ready. And then, sure enough, the background music was like the one piece I didn't touch. I got the intros, I got the outro, which you obviously heard right there. All of that set, and then not the actual background music. So that's why it stopped and was like, what? Oh, I'll just play the next thing you have queued up. I was being so good, I had the whole show in queue, ready to go. Man, I messed that up.
Like I said in the IRC, and everybody who's watching the YouTube stream will see, rhyme not intended. Ken didn't do this last week on the show when he hosted.
Ken also didn't do video when he hosted.
That's true.
Ken's doing half a show, not the full experience.
It wasn't even half. I didn't even put the podcast wasn't even up till yesterday because I'm such a noob.
Well, now admittedly, I still haven't put up the show from the previous week, and I haven't gone in and updated the RSS for any of it.
That's why you've not been bugging me because
no,
guilty.
I have been busy like nobody's business, and we're going to jump right into all of that because you know what?
Functional deviations.
We need to talk about what we've been doing and the things that haven't even been geek, because there's been, for me at least, so much going on lately. So I'm going to kick things off this week, Ken, and start with my dysfunctional deviations to say the reason that those shows haven't gotten up yet is because I have not had really a moment's rest outside of getting ready for conventions and things like that are happening in the near future. I would like to welcome us both back to being at full strength again. I apologize for not being on in the last week. Mostly, the last two, right? Because I had the Makers Fair where I was in California, and then last week I was out doing ninja stuff up in Boulder, and in doing so was out in a field running around with a large bow staff, which actually you can see behind me, my big wooden stick there on the wall. And as I was going around just in the park, I couldn't get to doing the show, unfortunately. So I apologize for that, but it was a lot of fun. While I was out there, I did training, and then I also got to spend several days at the Boulder Creek Festival. And it seems like at least here in Colorado, we are having a rash of festivals going on all over the state where people have come together with little like portable carnival rides and all the little games and things like that. And so almost every mall I've seen around town has had these little setups where people have merry-go-rounds and like Ferris wheels and all those kind of like parlor games where you go to try to win stuffed animals and things like that. Well, there was also one going on in Boulder, and Boulder being a very hip town, both, yuppie and hipster and yuppie, or I said yuppie, hippie, and, yeah, anyhow. fun town though. And so they had some neat stuff going around their festival. I spent 3 days out there and got way too much sun. Between that, and I had done the bow staff training, and then the following day on the Monday there, I had done the Bolder Boulder, which is a race up there, which is a 10-kilometer run.
I gotta say, I saw the pictures and you impressed me very much, sir. That's quite impressive.
Well,
Definitely.
What, with just the time I ran it in?
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's and the distance you did. That's just crazy to me. Like, I struggled to do 2 miles, even after my 3 months of training when I was getting ready for the wedding. I still couldn't go over like 2.5.
Well, so the bad part is I'd only run about it was my big one, 4.23 or 4.3 or something like that miles prior to doing the 6.2 miles. That's the Bolder Boulder. But having run at least 4, I was like, oh, I'll be able to handle this. I should be all right. I say this, and I had a group of people together. My friends Campo and his wife came up and ran it, and he was the one who had just done the huge weight loss challenge and did amazing. He also, while he and his wife were both in the Army, he used to love running, and so he was all over the place. And it's funny, running it, he went purposely to enjoy all the side activities, the silliness that goes along with the Bolder Boulder. And on that, he did the... on the side of it, because it's in Boulder and runs through town, there's people that set up events, kind of like, they'll have sprinklers all over the place, so they're spraying water and things, so that while you're getting warm running, you can run through the sprinklers. It feels really good. People will be giving out normal places where they have water stations as you've been running, so they'll give you water or Gatorade or something like that to drink. But then other people get out there, and some are nice. They did like bowls of fresh orange slices. It's like, oh, nice, a little bit of fruit, a little juice in that. It's actually really good for running. Later in the track, I found other people that were sitting there like, hey, we have orange wedges for you too. We got these just for you. Look, and they had bowls of Dorito chips, which is like, yes, they are orange wedges that I absolutely don't want to eat right now because I'm running. And yet, I did partake in some of the things. So one of the first things our group partook in was, well, the very first thing, because I'd run it a couple years prior and I got a 1 hour 3 minutes for the time when I was really training and trying to get ready for it. This time I ran in our first corner, not even a mile into the race, to 2 gals in the course. One of our friends, Jenkins, his wife, and Campo's wife, both were like, oh, we need to use the restrooms right now. And so they ran to the little, like, urinals or whatever, the porta potties, jumped in those.
Uh-huh.
And, we're sitting there kind of jogging in place, like, we just started running. What are we doing? And couldn't you have done that 10 minutes ago before we started? No. So we actually wasted probably 2 or 3 minutes right there. So I might have actually gotten almost the same time I did previously. Now we went running. Campo is he's a running beast. He probably could have finished the race in about 45 minutes if he really wanted to. He ended up finishing it in just over an hour, like 1 hour and 13 seconds or something like that. And because he actually ran back to get us, he waited at a few spots and did things like that.
Yeah, I've never been able to run longer than like 25 minutes. At that point, I'm like... it looks like I just got out of like a swimming pool, and I'm struggling to do anything, like even walk at that point. And I have to get some water and like hold myself against a wall before I collapse. So I have so much admiration for you guys that can go and do double that. That's insane.
Well, it's me really. I eventually feel as though I don't know why, because I hate running, but it feels like I need to go run a half marathon, so 20K, and then eventually like I need to run a marathon, which is essentially, well, that's not 40K, is it? Or it's about 40K, I guess. But it's not really. It's 26.2 miles. And so I forget how long that really turns out to be. But I eventually have this like weird, painful, hurt myself desire to do that just once so I can check it off the list to say I have run that far once in my life. Mm-hmm. It took me 8 hours, but darn it, I did it. But I'm not there yet.
Anything more than 5 minutes, but I did it, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's bad because I actually went through this and it felt pretty good. Came through, and after the whole thing was fun. But so talking about Campo, the way he ran it, I ran it and I barely partook in the side things. Like I said, I had water and stuff here and there. I did one of the side events was the slip and slide. There were about 3 areas where they had tarps set up with water on it, so you could run on this plastic and slide across it. I did that once, got up and was drenched, which felt great for a minute because all that water on me was actually kind of a warm day. I think Campo hit most of those. At one point he waited for us by a group was on the side playing music, and they had a little area set up where you could stand on these discs that they had on the ground, and it was doing the twist as a dance, and so you'd sit there through a song and do the twist. So he was doing that, waiting for us to catch up. Another piece, and you'll be very appreciative of this one, Ken, is that partway through, because there's a lot of college kids in the town of Boulder, there was at least one area where they were doing keg stands, where they get a keg of beer, which I don't know if you guys do this over in your neck of the woods. We definitely have figured it out here in the U.S. But the kegs, you can tap them and directly pour out of it a large quantity of beer. And so a keg stand, you do that with the tap, but then instead of just filling up a cup to drink it, you essentially drink directly out of the tap with a hose attached to it. But to do a keg stand, you have to put your arms on the keg, have friends or whoever's with you hold you up upside down, so you're basically doing a handstand on the keg while they're feeding you beer upside down through this tube. And so
I've actually seen that. I've seen that get done online and stuff before, and in films and the like. But I've never actually. That doesn't really happen here so much.
I kind of figured. I thought that was kind of an American thing.
Yeah, it is very American. So is beer and like that kind of beer in general. You guys like having lots of weak beer, whereas we like to have lots of like high alcohol spirits.
Like,
so it's more
yes.
likely that you'd come here and be given 10 shots of tequila for like the start of the night. You know. That's
yeah, I
more
keep
likely.
saying, I feel like my liver would just give up if ever I get the opportunity to go drinking with you guys. It sounds so painful.
You will.
I still haven't booked it. I need to. But yeah, no, so he did a keg stand during the middle of his run. And so, upside down drinking beer, which I thought at that point in the run, if I had been pushed upside down for any reason, I would have just passed out, let alone actually having a keg stand.
Yeah.
So I was impressed that he did that. And what else? So we went through it, finished it up, a whole group of us going. Actually, a lot of people were out there playing in general, and it was a lot of fun. I finished it in hour 6, and like I said, I probably would have done it a little better if I had just run it and not done anything or had to wait and stuff like that. So I'm kind of amped to try to do it again next year. I think we're going to try to get a bigger group together to run that. And I've already signed up for a few other runs, one of which being the big one at the end of the year, which is going to be the Tough Mudder. And that is this event where it's all obstacle courses, and I think it's actually a 12 to 15 mile run up in the mountains of Aspen, Colorado.
Oh jeez.
So it's much higher altitude, and it's and so Kuro's talked to him in the back one that I'd wanted to in the past, which is a zombie run where you run through with almost like in flag football where you have little flags attached to you, and there's zombies all over the course that can try to take the flags, and if they get them all, you die. Or you basically lose, and so you have to run, but you also have to like dodge out of the way when there's
awesome.
people as zombies coming at you. I didn't hear about it this year because normally it's
That'd be more fun.
Well, actually, it should be coming up in the next like a couple weeks. I believe that it should be coming up, something like that. But yeah, that's the problem. We have so many runs coming up, and I'm kind of tempted to do more this year because I'm only signed up for 3. I finished my first one. Next one is the Tough Mudder, and then after that, it's the glow in the dark. Rave run down at Bandamere, which is our quarter-mile track, and they hit you with a bunch of blacklight stuff, the blacklight run. So things like that. Anyhow, so did all that, ran, I think did pretty good. I think we did all right.
Definitely.
What else did we do? It's kind of warm here in Colorado. That's not really a big deal. It's just I'm feeling because I finally had to kick the air conditioner on today. Darn it. Yeah, first world problems. And then the other thing is also first world problems is being a homeowner. I spent all morning today pulling weeds out of my rocks in my yard, which wouldn't be so bad, but I have a big enough yard that there's just rocks everywhere. And so I didn't even get them all, but I had to because I got my first official notice of the year from my HOA, my homeowners association, saying, "Sir, you do realize we're trying to make sure our lawns all look nice and that our houses are all looking wonderful so as to not negatively affect the property value of the neighborhood." Yes, I have weeds and haven't mowed my lawn because we've had torrential rain lately. I will try to take care of that. And so I've done my part for the last 2 days of pulling weeds. Ugh.
Oh jeez.
Let's see. All right, last things I had that are not geek related, or kind of. Kuro, the reason he's in the office today is yesterday we went to this time of year. It's funny, Homestuck. I've talked about before, the webcomic that we are part of. Let's see. Yes, there we go. That Homestuck was hosting one of their dance events that they do at the beginning and end of the year. Those events are called both their Homestuck Homecoming, which I talked about last year, which is when I first got to be a part of the group, and this at the end of the year, or end of the school year essentially, was their Homestuck Prom. So Promstuck. And so we spent yesterday going to Promstuck, and I don't know if there will be pictures leaked of me or not, but I did cosplay it. Kuro did a light cosplay of it because normally he goes as his sufferer cosplay, which is really good because it was ridiculously hot in the venue we had. There's a whole story with that as well because we picked up this place, and when we went to it, they what was terrible was they didn't have, or somehow we had gotten the booking messed up where we were going to be at this nice church down at the campus downtown Denver. And somehow the booking got jacked up, and so we couldn't get the venue. Whoever had figured it out didn't actually set it up correctly. So we showed up a half hour before the time of the dance with no venue. And everyone's sitting around like, well, crud, what do we do? And much, much, much respect thrown out to the main organizers of all the Homestuck events, Grace and Luna, because those two get everything to work, and they just make it right. And so they just went out of their way, and they were able to find a brand new venue that day within like 15, 20 minutes. They were able to rent new sound equipment from a group and get the change for where all the pizzas were being delivered and such, and get everything organized, posted, and online so that within a half hour of when it was supposed to start, everything was moved to a new venue. Finally got there, got keys, got in, got set up, and had everything set up for this nice dance that we covered. Kuro and I showed up to do photography. We kind of have been the unofficial official photographers for Homestuck in Colorado, for the Colorado Stuck group, mainly because I'd say we do an alright job. But we went out there and we were spending the whole day basically shooting photos to capture this massive event. And I say massive because I think this had to... Oh gosh, really, Kuro? Why did you do that? My terrible, terrible face makeup. It's bad. No fair. So don't follow that link in the IRC, anyone. Just don't bother. Don't look at that. It's terrible. But when we go... Really? Come on, Ken. Where are you? Video.
I'm trying to fix it. Give me a second.
Why'd you break the show? See? You told me it wasn't... last week I didn't have the problem. Uh-huh.
Hey, look, there we go. All fixed. No problem.
Hey, I can see you again. Thank you. So, why did you post that, Kuro? I look terrible. But we went cosplaying there, and that's kind of a picture as they were setting up the dance, and I'm in my Doc Scratch cosplay, where normally instead of my white face and everything, it's essentially one big white orb over his head. But that was my version. I decided to paint up the fro, pick it out, and paint my face white to try to simulate the white orb that is normally Doc Scratched.
Isn't that like the opposite of, well, people would say, like, imagine if I...
Yes, that came up a lot.
Completely brown or black.
Yes, instead of doing blackface, I did whiteface. And the comment I made multiple times to the day is, as you see my makeup deteriorating through it, was, I was like, so, gosh, I don't know how you guys do it. It's so hard being white. I can't keep it there. Everything I do, I keep getting darker. It's like... I can't maintain it.
You just couldn't dance anymore.
No, I made up for that. The fro keeps the power. But yeah, no, it was fun, and we did the dance. I think that we had a rough guess I would have had was maybe 150 plus Homestucks all there at the dance. It was the biggest event we had ever seen for Homestuck. It was ridiculous. So took a lot of photography. Yeah, as Crow say, maybe 200 people there, and then. I had also this weekend I had been down at the track in Pueblo and shot photography for the races. I got to ride around in a Porsche 911 Turbo this weekend at the track, which was amazing. Really, Ken? Wait,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've got something for this, and it's not even appropriate for this segment, but I'm gonna play it anyways and see if this. Yeah, wait, where is it? No.
Can't be giving myself a goatee in the video while I already have one.
Yeah, exactly. How do I not have that drop in? Oh, I feel so bad. I'll have to get that one back. Darn it! I need my copy drop in for this. You are so terrible, Ken. What are you?
Whoops.
Okay, you see everyone how he is breaking the show. I'm glad this is on video so you can watch as Ken decides to real-time play with effects instead of concentrating on the show.
I don't know what you're talking
Such a professional. You know what? Just for that, I'm going to stop talking and say, Ken, what have you been up to non-geeky this week?
Okay, fine. I'll do the show properly. Damn it. Okay.
Actually, I can't say that because I even missed the intro to say that it was like June 1st today, but we're continuing. It's like 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, yeah, it's June 1st. That's weird, isn't it? This year's been going so fast. Did you know I've been married for 5 months now? 5 months.
And in that time, how long have you actually spent with your wife?
Like 17 days? So not even a month properly married.
Exactly. So, well, on paper, you are legally attached to our friend Kitten. At the same time, you have no kitten in your life. Aww. Anyhow,
yeah,
so
eventually, there's no progress with that yet, I'm afraid. There's nothing. No, I've been watching the accounts carefully because I think the best way to know if it's been completed, because I have a feeling they won't tell us, is to look at
see
at
when
our
they take
account
money.
statements. Yeah, and see if they take out any money. If they take out any money to send our files back, that means they're finished with it. That doesn't mean if it's successful or not, but it means that they're done.
Yeah,
So I can
exactly.
work it from there. So I'm waiting for that. We'll see what happens. I wanted to ask you. You said you use iTunes. I thought you were all anti-Apple. I'm surprised you don't use VLC or even Windows
I
Media
use
Player.
iTunes because that's an easy way to get RSS feeds propagated to my one device, which is my phone. And so because I have an iOS phone, it's easy just to sync it in and keep the updates that way, instead of having to do like, no, I can't use iTunes, but if I need the latest updates, I have to do them wirelessly or something, and then I can't directly back up the phone because I'm not using iTunes. So I just said, screw it, I'll just use iTunes for that. Stop it!
It's not interrupting the show
So
whatsoever.
what have you
I
been
don't know what the
doing,
problem is.
Ken?
What's worse is I don't know how to take it off now. So I was just interested, so I noted that down because I wanted to see why you were using it. Yeah, so you were mentioning you've been doing a lot of gardening. That's what I was actually going to talk about today as well. For the first time, I've actually done gardening for my own place. In the past, all the gardening I've done has been for, you know, my parents' place, or I live in student accommodation that doesn't have a garden or whatever. Remember, of course, that garden doesn't mean garden in the US. It means lawn here. So just like a stretch of grass. I don't have like flowers or anything. It's just a normal yard, as you guys would call it. So I've been doing some gardening. I trimmed this hedge, which literally it lost about half a meter, or like 2 feet or so worth of width, because it was outgrowing so much. But I had no equipment to do it because obviously if I'm renting a place, I'm not going to go out and buy equipment for it if I don't plan to be here for long, because that's kind of redundant, you know. Then I have to move it all and like, and it'd be kind of silly. So I just borrowed my landlord's and got that all done, and I'm glad because it looks a lot neater now. So that's good. I broke my back, however, and
What?
my eye while doing it. Everybody that has kind of Snapchat.
You're looking pretty spry for having a broken back and eye.
I can't walk. It's not actually broken, but you know, it is quite painful. I don't know. I think it's just the movements I was doing or something. I just felt something seize up while I was doing it, and while I was cutting back that massive hedge, it had either lots of dust or lots and lots and lots of pollen on it. Thankfully, I'm not allergic to pollen. I'm not allergic whatsoever, so that's good at least, because I would have probably died otherwise. But still, turns out when you go take off a big chunk of hedge and it falls down and like a cloud of this stuff goes out. I don't know how, but somehow I must have like closed my eyes at different times, like left then right, because my left eye is completely fine, but my right eye got like a blast of it, and so I have this like bright red eye. I looked online, it's gonna be fine. I just need to wash it with water and the likes, but it's really itchy and just annoying. Ugh. And my back means whenever I stand up or like do any major movements, I go ow, 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 ow. So I'm kind of like an old man today.
I was gonna say, what is wrong with you, sir?
And to make it worse, I got sick this week. I never get sick.
Hey, you were just telling us, Ken, how you are the master of not actually getting sick, and you were surprised at how I would get sick and be ill for like a week or two.
Okay, sorry. I'm sick. I have a slightly sore throat. My glands are enlarged, and as you may be able to tell, my voice is a lot deeper.
Kuro wants to know what you're drinking right now.
Just coffee. Just coffee.
He is aghast because at least his coffee has a proper amount of sweetener to it. You with the rum chata, as my rum chata and fireball mix is yum.
But I had
Why
some
you
spicy
fail
food
us,
last
Ken?
night.
You see, Ken, you do realize the whole reason that you're supposed to have alcohol is because that way it feels as though it's afternoon for me to drink instead of as early in the afternoon, because you know it's late in Scotland, and so I'm just being a part of the group, and it's not like I'm some kind of weird American drunk.
You're just very sinful, you know, on a Sunday morning.
There is no sin in this house. You have to,
To be fair, you drank less frequently on the show than I have. Therefore, you're just catching up with me. That's all it is.
I
all it
see.
is.
I see.
So that's what I was doing. I was fixing my garden stuff this week. I'm going to a new team at work tomorrow, so that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be working with completely new people, moving desk. Going to be doing a kind of different job. Obviously,
Did
can't
you
go into
get in
detail about
trouble?
it, but no, not at all. Just every Well, it's supposed to be every 6 months I move around within the... Because I'm in a graduate scheme, so I try out different jobs within the business.
Interesting.
So I'm going to a different job tomorrow, and that'll be interesting to see. I know their team's a lot busier than the one I was in before, so that means I'll be doing a lot more work, which is good, because then time flies by, and plus you learn more as well, so I'm excited about that. However, they don't have a team lead, so apparently I'm going to be sort of supervising myself, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not, because it's going to be interesting to see how that works. I'm worried if... I want to see how the balance works out, you know? So I have more pressure of deadlines now, but I have less pressure from a team lead, so I don't know if there's going to be more or less pressure overall or not.
Gotcha.
I know that when I'm left my own devices at home, I don't do much work, so we'll see what happens when I'm actually there. I'm sure I will be fine, but it'll be interesting to see what my instinctive response is to it, and then fix it as we go. The art contest.
Yes.
Go take part, because we went and updated it, and it's all shiny and ready, and there's loads of stuff to go do, and you need to go take part. There are 3 different ones you can take part in. Let me just go say the themes and rattle them all off. For the ShowX Art Contest Month 4, there's Writing, Blue, Stick, Cosplay, Fairy, and Fool Me Once, Shame on You. Those are all the themes for Month 4. Month 5 has Music, Bricks, Back in Black, Pens and Pencils, Games, and Mayday, Mayday. And finally, Month 6 has Lust, Gluttony, Greed, Sloth, Wrath, Envy, and Pride. Quite appropriate if you play World of Warcraft and you're playing the Mists of Pandaria expansion. You could maybe base it on something with that. Just saying. So you can have the maximum of 3 submissions per contest. So you could have 9 if you really want to. So if you go out and you do a bunch of photography, say, and you have like 300 pieces you take, but there's only 10 you like, if you can fit them to the themes, you could put almost all of them in there. If you are the winner of the community host contest, 1, you get enlarged e-pins so you feel better, and you also will be mentioned on the show, which is also pretty cool. We'll mention your name and say, hey, look at this guy, check out his stuff.
As well as we will show the entries and stuff as we do it, since I'm now doing that on the video feed, and I'll be able to show what it is that we're looking at. So you will also have it visible for everyone to check out.
So you can actually see it as we call it out as well. So you'll get more visibility to other people out there, get your work shown. Whether you be a professional or an amateur, anything's welcome. Go take part. We've got until the end of this month, so we've got 29 days from today to do it. So go take part. I know I need to put some time aside to go do it as well this month, and I'm going to. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to be doing yet, but I'll find something, no doubt. All right. Other than that, I think that's all I've been up to it's worth mentioning at least. So, sir.
All right. With that, since it doesn't look like, although let me double check. Oh, we do have emails in. Sweet. Thank you to both Kopii and to Hando for doing the duty and getting us some emails just in the nick of time as we get ready to transition over, talk about things a little bit geeky. So with that, let us kick this over and say that...
I'm a geek. Are you a geek? Geek cred, level up!
So, on this week's Geek Credibility, we're going to start off with our coffee meal of the week. That is titled... Or wait, it doesn't have an actual subject this time. Aw. Oh, it just says coffee meal. Okay. Greetings, Kuro Densetsu, Dr. Lord Reverend Kenneth Neal Reed II, Wayne, and the Internet. Today I am crafting some pixel art while I listen to the show. It is the Mana Beast final boss in Secret of Mana. And that about sums up my geekery this week. Unless you want to hear some tales of the Wandering Druid, aka Kopii's frolicking through Azeroth. No, thank you for saving us from that. Last weekend was Anime North. I got to be Jinx, but ran out of time to make Fishbones the rocket launcher. People didn't seem to mind because all the other Jinxes had Fishbone and I was the only one with Pow Pow, the cat-eared Gatling gun. 2 of the other Jinxes told me that I was the best Jinx, which just made me the happiest Kopii ever. I was different dealing with photographers this year because many people ask, quote, can I get a picture with you? When they usually just ask for pics of me. I'm most definitely taking Jinx with me to Con Bravo in July. She's super fun to wear, and I even did flips and handstands in that costume without things falling apart on me. Doing stupid things like that in costume sure does draw a lot of attention. You big smiley. I was good and didn't spend monies in the dealer room, but I had to go in because they had snakes to pet. I picked the albino to hold.
Ooh.
He was so small and snuggly and cute. Yeah, the albino ones usually are. Snakes and spiffy little creatures. Cat face. That's all for now. See you next Sunday, the original copy. P.S. Ken, I'm sorry I didn't include my insane and custom Monopoly rules.
Aw.
Chibi wasn't online to help me recall her rule set. At one point, she dropped her game pieces into her coffee, so we made a boat rule for players traveling by beverage. I'll do my best to have it done by this week. I am very curious about that. And Kopii, you need to find a theme, and I can think of at least one of the contests, where you could take a picture of... Ken, would you just stop? A picture of your cosplay with Jinx and post it in the art contest. May I say lust by chance? I am very looking forward to that because I know you've been working on Jinx for quite a while and she's one of your favorite characters and you were all excited to cosplay her since she had come out in League of Legends. So definitely get us some pics. I must see. All right, Ken, on to you. Will you follow up with the next email?
Sure, let me just respond to Kopii as well. And for the Monopoly thing, you guys are definitely going to enjoy that. There were some hilarious rules she was telling me the other night. They are quite funny. So I'll enjoy reading those out next week. It will be enjoyable. All right, so like Wayne said, this is from Hando.
And appropriately titled and in tune with the show today.
Subject Geek Cred. Dear Lawn Care and Fro Hair. That's
well done. Well done, Hando. I got to give you the golf clap for that one. That was nicely done. Yes.
Well done. Well done. This was the National AV Geek Week off from work. Much sleeping, such relax. You missed
What's
the third
that?
one. I've been watching the media events from the WildStar team and decided to spend money on the game. I figure the media event will be worth taking part in. We'll see what happens afterward, but the game promises to be challenging. It would be incorrect for me to say Vent Chat was dead this week. It was quite active, indeed it was. However, none of the video wall peeps for days. Aww. I actually never used the video wall other than the show. I didn't realize people did do that. So if others are using it, I will begin to.
Well, it's one of those let people know so that we know to go and like hang out there with everybody. The whole point of us having all these networks is to be able to hang out with you and do the whole VTW community outreach, not just to be, sitting here and only come out on our show dates. So definitely let us know if you're out at the video wall, if you're in Vent, anything like that. We're happy to join in.
Indeed. And I'll have to be careful though, because I have a tendency to just come home from work all tired and stiff and just go, take off everything and just go to bed. So
at which point, when he jumps on the video wall, be aware that you might get a little bit more Ken Bear than you're ready for.
Adult advisory. So I'll try out. In fact, I've also been tempted to have like a live cam of my house at all times, kind of like you got outside, but like internal.
Ken wants you to watch him. Here's Ken walking around in his tiny whities.
I could use it through Google Hangout. That'd be quite cool. I mean, I've got some laptops that are low power consumption. I could just have a webcam on and leave it on, And I just need to find a way to have it connected through IP so I can use a web URL to connect to it. But we'll see. Let me carry on with this email. Saw Ken yesterday and got some quality games of Hearthstone in. I think my win rate was about 25%. You forgot about the last game. It went down another one, so it was 1 out of 5, 20%. Sorry, man. I've been face collecting quite nicely in World of Tanks with my Tier 5 T40 tank destroyer.
Nice.
Discovered the additional 50% less detection camouflage netting for my tank, and it makes me an even more bad arse sniper. Cost 50,000 credits.
Woo.
So worth it. I have no idea if that's a lot or not.
Me either.
I assume it is. Question: do we have an update from the VTW game clan? Have wins occurred? Have noobs been made to cry in their stained, dirty jogging pants? That's all for now. Your pal, Hando. And so yeah, well, whenever El Campo and the likes are free, they're always welcome to come on the show and give us an update.
So definitely, for anybody who pays attention on the Facebook side of things, and if you aren't on Facebook, you might have missed out. But if you check out the Show X page on Facebook, El Campo and Pause are both very active in letting you know what the VTW clan for gaming has been doing, specifically with Black Ops 2. They are very happy to share with everyone their exploits, where they are able to show how, like you're saying, specifically, have noobs been made to cry? Yes. Yes, they have. Because when either El Campo or Paz get on, they are almost always the top of the killed to death ratio on the team, in fact on the whole match, and their numbers are ridiculous to the point where our new mantra is essentially, if the VTW clan is not called a group of hackers within the first game or two, we are doing something wrong. Because Paz will... Oh, it's bad. He keeps putting screenshots out there, and specifically, and it's funny, I've listened to him now where both Paz and Campo make a game of it that whenever somebody starts typing chat that is essentially disparaging them and saying that they're nothing but hackers and that VTW clan just employs hackers, they instantly start hitting screenshot. And screenshot every time someone writes something like that, and they post it to the Facebook under Show X so that you can go and check it out. I'm pretty sure that's where it's at. And then it's funny to see because people get so butthurt over the idea that, hey, these guys are just better than you. Deal with it. You know, because it's bad is I don't hack. I know I don't hack. In fact, I think I'm fairly average at the game at best. And yet when I join in the matches, I tend to do pretty darn good, if not the top, within the top half every time. And so when it becomes Paz, El Campo, and I are all on together, and gosh, if we get our buddy Shady as well, you'll almost always get VTW 1 through 4 on the entire match. And we just destroy people, and they hate us so badly and leave. So we are trying to hold up our own for what VTW means out in the world. We are definitely versus the world. By all means, if there's games you're interested in, I know that, what was it, Hendo or someone else was putting out the information for the WildStar clan that they're getting together. Use VTW. Even if it's not Ken, myself, or any of the other show hosts being part of it, we are a community. Feel free to draw that community and bring them into the new games that you like to play. It doesn't just have to be what the show hosts are. Our community is bigger than the shows. It is all of you, our listeners, and we appreciate it. So that's kind of an update on the gaming clan. I do have, hopefully, some things that we'll do with the next Game Fest, which is going to be the first weekend in August, because I'm going to host my first tournament Game Fest then on the Saturday. We're going to have several game shows out where we have teams play for points to see how good my friends really are. And so we really are pushing the VTW and the gaming aspect. We still want to have fun. That's primary, and just our group getting together. But by all means, use that VTW tag. Let the world know that we are versus them. And at the same time, bring them back to the network and let them listen to the shows. So that's kind of the update. Thank you very much, Hando, for throwing an email in for us again this week. Always appreciate it. So, Ken, what have you been doing specifically geeky this week?
Well, specifically geeky, and this is very geeky, of course, obviously, is I've been playing World of Warcraft.
Wait, see, where's my copy dropping that says, really, Ken? Really? You call that geek cred?
Says the guy who can't find it because he's not even a geek.
Oh, you wait, it's coming. I'm finding it now. You say that.
I'll just go for a quick snooze while we wait.
How about you try to tell us what's so geeky about this world that was Warcraft?
Well, one thing, what is geek if not a perception of others that makes them seem geeky? And if people know, at work for example, or my friends know that I'm playing Warcraft again, they go, oh man, you're not, are you? That's pretty geeky. And I'm like, no, it's a good thing.
They say that's pretty geeky, or they say, oh, that's too bad, man. Really? I feel so bad for you.
Not at all. They're just like, oh man, that's so geeky. And they look down on it in that sense, but I'm like, no, you should embrace geekiness. I've only got about 11 days left of my trial or so, or 10 days or so. But I've been enjoying it so far. Can you hear me okay, by the way? My PC's freezing up a little bit.
Yes, I hear you just fine.
That's good then. That's all that matters, I guess. Yeah, so I've been playing WoW. I stopped playing my priest because I got kind of sick of healing. It was fun up until level 74 or so, and I kind of just got bored of it. I was just like, this is okay, I guess, but I just feel like I'm doing the same stuff each dungeon, because since I'm not taking part in the fights, it's not particularly interesting. If I was raiding, I think it would be different, because there's actual proper mechanics where you have to like avoid the fire, etc., you know? Simple stuff like that, but at least it would make it a bit more interesting. Instead of just, okay, I'm going to go in, press 1, press 6, okay, everybody's got a massive shield, and now it's fine. I don't need to do anything for 5 minutes. You know, that's a bit dull, you know?
Is that not fun for you, Ken?
No, it's not, but
priest, the most
I quite enjoy
thankless
PvP
class.
What was that, sorry?
It's a priest, any healing class is like the most thankless thing, because you're just healing, you're not doing DPS kind of thing. Now, it's thankless because everybody wants you to just do your job and be amazing at it so that everyone stays alive, but then they give you so much of rationing if you make a mistake or you miss an actual heal on the tank or something like that, and it wipes the group. And so it's so thankless because they don't cheer you when you do an amazing heal or anything, because they just expect that. Do they?
They do sometimes, yeah. I've had quite a few groups actually where guys are just like, wow, you're actually a good healer. Can you stay with us? We'd really appreciate
Oh,
it. Like, I'd
that's
love to hang
nice.
out with you and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I love that. You know, that makes you feel good about it. But with DPS, you never get that. And on my Warlock, I do pretty damn good DPS, I gotta say. Considering I'm not in a raiding guild or anything, I just do raids with the Look for Raid group. And
All of
stuff.
the deeps.
I have pretty damn good DPS in PvE. And I never get thanked for having, like, double the second guy's DPS, you know? And that's kind of sad, you know. I do get it with healing. I get it with tanking as well. If you're doing well at tanking, you just go in, you pull like 3 groups, and you're doing awesome. People are just like, man, this tank's great, and the healer's like, I love healing you, man. It's easy, it's a breeze, and that makes you feel good as well. No matter what you do in DPS, even if you go AFK and you just set yourself to follow, nobody will notice, except for like somebody trying to be good in DPS meters might be watching it, you know. But most of the time, people just ignore it because it doesn't matter. And that's the difference. So for that sense, I enjoy healing, but like I said, it's a bit dull just now. I'll get back to it at some point, maybe, because I wouldn't mind doing it at, like I said, at level 90, and I've been enjoying the PvP side of it as well, because that's quite gratifying. When you're standing there, and you're healing your group, and then suddenly one of your team members gets nuked down before you can heal them, and you're like, crap, what do I do? And it's just you against like 5 guys. And you look around and all your allies are dead, and you're like, oh no! So you just throw up like 6 shields, you heal yourself, you like use all your cooldowns, and you're just healing through for like 2 minutes. And all these guys, you can just sense that they're on their keyboard going, damn it, damn this guy! You know?
It's like, would you just die? Actually,
Yeah,
that's funny.
it's just like-
I'm glad you actually banged your keyboard while in the Google document, so I could see your the actual representation.
It was just great, you know. It made you feel so good about it. You're just like, I'm actually a good player because I can hold off 3 or 4 other guys. And finally, the rest of your team comes over and they nuke them down, and you can just see, like, you can feel the hatred and the wrath coming through the interwebs towards you. And they ignore the DPS because they still want to kill you. They don't care about the guys killing them. They just want to kill this stupid freaking priest.
Yes, in
That's fun.
PvP it's nice when you can actually play in people's egos like that. And in the
yeah.
IRC, Earth specifically says, Shaman is the only fun healing class, down with all other healers.
I actually have a Shaman healer who's level 85. I used to play him end game. And yeah, he was fun. I tried him recently though, and I find the way that they've reworked the totems to be completely different from before, and I really dislike it, so I've stopped. I didn't play him. That's why I decided to play a priest instead. I've never actually tried a priest healing class, and I thought it was quite fun. I like the shield aspect, whereas you can actually sort of like overhealing. So if you do overhealing effectively, or a crit, you actually give them a shield instead of healing them, which is great if you have a big tank and you're going to go do a big boss, and you're like, hold on a sec, bro, and you just use your crit spell and you cast your big heal on him, and he has like an extra 50,000 health on top of his own health because you healed him previous to the fight. I think that's an interesting mechanic, and I like that. But yes, I did enjoy Shamans. I played them back in the day when chain healing was like the main thing. You just cast Riptide and then chain heal, and then it bounced through everybody, and you did that all the time non-stop for the win. And they've changed it completely now, and I don't know, it's just not for me. So I'm kind of done with healing at the moment anyway. I decided to try out my tank for a while, so I tried out my Death Knight, level 85, who still had all of his cool... He was the guy I used to raid with. So he had his cool Wrath epics still, you know? In fact, I'm sorry, I was 80. And he had all his cool Wrath epics. So I decided to do a couple dungeons, and it was okay. I don't know, I just felt a bit bored. I don't know, I wanted to actually do some damage. So that's
Yeah,
why
because you're playing WoW.
my...
I understand.
Not at all. So I decided to start playing my Warlock. I've always been an Altaholic, so I have multiple characters. And I've been enjoying him the past few days. So I did some PvP with him, it's been a lot of fun. I was originally going with the, I can't remember what it's called, Destruction spec, which is just like Fire Mage, effectively. And that was okay. It's great for my PvE side of things, but I wasn't really enjoying PvP, so I thought I'd go Demonology and try that out. And I really like this one glyph you have, which allows you to, from any height, you can press, you turn to your demon form, and you press this spell, which makes you, like, leap normally, like it makes you go ahead like 20 yards normally. It's like a blink sort of thing. But if you're in the air, and no matter what height you're at, it throws you down to the ground and you smash into it, and you don't get any damage done to you. And I love that.
Okay, it's a pile drive move essentially.
Yeah, it's
Does
so
it do
cool.
damage to those people around you if you land?
No, it's no damage at all. Well, actually, it might do. I think the original spell already did, but this one, they actually do it from the air and doesn't do any damage to you. That doesn't do anything, of course.
Ah, I was hoping it
it's
would actually
great.
hurt others, so it's kind of because I've seen that in anime and things like that. The guy that comes in and like wrecks the world. Bam!
Well, it does.
I'm
It
here.
does, kind of, because it does actually do the damage from the original spell, so it will.
Oh,
still
okay,
hurt
so
people
there's still
around it,
some
yeah.
damage, but it's not like an increased one or something like that.
No. But it's still very damn cool. Like I love when I'm on like a battleground somewhere and somebody tries to like mind control me off a cliff or something, or just throws me off it, and I'm just like, no, bitch! Just turn these demon wings and just fly towards the ground and smash into it. Makes you feel epic as well. I love that
Nice.
sort of thing. So I've been doing some PvP, like I said, and that's a lot of fun. I also went to the Darkmoon Fair, and I hadn't been to it since they redid it, whether it be in Cataclysm or Pandaria. But they used to have it so there was like the fair at a different city each time, and you went to the fair which is next to the city. Now there's a portal next to each city depending where
What?
it's at, and you click on the portal and you go to Darkmoon Island, and it's like a whole island.
Mode. Oh, I'm sorry,
how's
what?
it easy? How's that easy? It's more content. How is that possibly easy?
It
What in that
used to be
implies-
you had to actually chase around the fair. Now it's like, oh, just
You still
port
can.
directly to it.
No. You portal to it from wherever it currently is. It moves from the different cities still, but it's the portal that moves. So you still have to find it.
Okay, in that case, then that's fine. The way you made
Uh-huh.
it sounded like they just added a portal at each town, so you just go directly to the fair.
No.
No, okay, that sounds better then.
So it's a whole island for the Darkmoon Fair now, and there's like loads of daily quests you can do. There are reputation factions, so you can grind with them, and you get like you can get mounts at the end of it, some gear and some companions and stuff, which is cool. And it's not like pay to get or anything. You just have to go for it like everything else, which is cool. Stop hating on everything just because it's WoW. I've been enjoying that. The one thing there, I managed to do all the dailies there, which were fun. They're all just like mini games. Like there's like what's it called? You know the when you get like there's like 9 little
The
holes.
Pokemon challenge? I don't know what.
No, that's the pet battles. That's the one I couldn't do because you need to have max level pets, and I've not been doing it that much. But there's these other ones that include, for example, whack-a-mole. There's like a whack-a-mole mini game, and
Okay.
there's like one where you get shot out of a cannon, and you have to cancel the flying effect to land in like a hole in the middle of the sea sort of thing.
Okay.
It's fun. It's just a mini game. You get like a little bit of gold and some rep for it, and it's just a bit of fun, you know. I don't know why you hate this. Why do you hate that?
Nah, I'm listening.
It's just quests.
just
They're just
waiting to
quests
hear
that
more.
happen to be enjoyable. That's all I'm
yeah.
saying. So I was enjoying that. Ah, jeez, you hate everything. You just hate it out off the bat.
You're right. I just hate everything. Everything at all. If it's
true.
WoW.
It's completely true. Hearthstone, I've been playing that like Hando said. I redid a bunch of my decks again, my decks, and I've not done anything in particular out of the ordinary, nothing fantastic, but I've been having fun with it. And Hando, remember to mute your Google Hangout. I've been thoroughly enjoying my rogue deck still, because I'm still kicking ass with it. I unlocked the... what's it called? Black Temple deck, because you got that if you're over rank 20 from the last season, so I unlocked that, which is cool. So I've now got 3 decks, deck backings. And so that was fun. And what else have I been doing? I played some guitar, which is cool. I've got my old pedal back from high school, from my parents' house, so now I can play proper electric guitar with distortion and stuff,
Okay.
which is quite fun. So for about 3 hours at some point this week, I just picked up a guitar and I didn't put it down for a few hours, and I just did some like crazy fun stuff with distortion. I've not done that in years, like playing tapping solos and stuff. So it's like diddle 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 diddle. It's just I don't. That's not my main style of guitar by any stretch, or anything like that. But it's
But you
fun
do
to
enjoy
once in
it.
a while.
Well, come on. Everyone sees the electric guitar, and you see these, so many rock bands and just things out there where you hear it and you're like, yeah, that's a lead. Listen to that, or something like that. So that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And it's good fun. It is good fun to do that occasionally. I've been learning a few different songs. What have I been practicing mainly? Well, actually, in terms of from acoustic, actually, I've been learning one song. I've become close to mastering it, which is good because I've been practicing it for months now. I'll eventually put up a video and let everybody see if you're interested, but I've been working on that. And that's another geeky thing. And finally, for real gaming stuff, I want Watch Dogs
Oh, do you now?
pretty badly. I
Why
gotta
is
say, it
that,
looks pretty
Ken?
damn good.
You
just
want to
looks really interesting.
you want to be corrupted by these games to teach people how to hack?
Oh, no,
and how to get into people's bedrooms and their videos and watch what they're doing in their personal lives?
I can already do all that. Why would I need to learn that again?
Oh, I'm joking based on a rant and rave that went by one of these conservative idiots here in the United
Oh, you're
States,
kidding
Glenn
me.
Beck, who it wouldn't be so bad if he knew anything about video games, but essentially saying that this game was teaching kids how to hack into people's personal lives and like their iPad or their phone when it's sitting next to their bed so they could watch them. It was like, for one, the game doesn't show you how to hack a damn thing. You hit X. And trust me, in real life, it's not that easy. And so it was stupid rant and rave, but just something I had to bring up because go figure, people who don't understand video games trying to talk about them, even to the point where he had said that he doesn't allow video games in his house so his kids don't play them. Yeah, you're cool. Frickin' social Nazi.
Those poor kids.
No
Those
doubt.
Poor kids.
Not going to be able to, interact properly with the rest of society. It talks about things like, norms in society like sweeping headshots. You won't have a clue.
Yep, he's going to miss a go on sweeping headshots. I don't know, it just seems really cool. The hacking thing's always cool in movies and stuff, it's always been a thing.
Oh yeah, it's something that people show off as being amazing.
The thing's been pulling me in. As you guys know, I go on Funny Junk a lot. It's my favorite website for funny pictures.
So you're now figuring out your want for games based off Funny Junk and 9gag?
I don't use 9gag. 9gag's disgusting. But I've been looking on there, and there's
subreddit.
What was that?
I said sorry, subreddit.
I don't really use Reddit either, to be honest. I do occasionally, but not too often. And Funny Junk's all I really use, to be honest. But there's been so many things put up there of screenshots from inside the game that are just like funny things. Like for example, you can like hack into one guy's cell phone nearby, and it has like randomly issued things depending on random people. So for example, it'll say like he's positive with HIV, and you're like, what? Another one is watches MLP pornography. Which is pretty damn.
No, is there seriously one in there on that?
Yep. Honestly. So that's hilarious. There's a few other ones like that. Like they've actually paid attention to internet memes and made a point of like putting them online so people can see.
No, that's smart.
Cool. It's pretty damn cool. I'm looking through just now, and I've only seen one so far. It's just a meme saying constantly on smartphone, never runs out of battery. But I don't see anything else. It's a shame. If I find any, I'll link them in the IRC. They are quite funny. So I've been kind of pulled in, and I want to buy it, but it's like what, $70 on Steam? That's a lot of money.
Ooh.
It's like £45. That's like
that's
a
ridiculous.
lot of money. So I'm gonna hold off or acquire it.
One of those just like send me £10, and I will get you a £10 extra over the cost of it in the U.S. and I will get you a code.
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. I forgot it's gonna be cheaper over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's only a $60 game here max, and so. And actually, I think maybe a little less. I haven't looked for what it is on the PC, but I'm sure you can find a deal on it. My problem is I'm so spoiled by all these things now that I don't want to buy anything for more than like $40.
I know. Well, according to... Oh, you're right, it's $60. It is $60 in the US. And £40 here. So, actually, yeah, let me work this out. £40 to $1. By work out, I mean make Google work out for me because I'm lazy. I don't know the current exchange rate. $67 it would cost me, so yeah, $7 more.
Oh, that's not so bad.
I'll see what happens. I've also been tempted by The Forest. Anybody know what's going on with that game? I want it so bad. I
don't know that one at all. Which one's that?
It's like the creepy forest. Like it's kind of like Minecraft with high graphics, and instead of necessarily more about building, it's more about survival. As Google tells me, or Wiki tells me, it's a first-person survival horror game developed by End Night Games for Windows. Isn't an alpha version.
For a second, I was going to thought you were going to say like M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong or something like that games. In which case, I was going to be like, what the hell?
No, but it looks pretty cool. It looks beautiful, actually. The graphics look absolutely beautiful. It says here the island's inhabitants are a cannibalistic tribe, and the enemy is the enemy of the player, sort of thing. So you're trying to avoid these cannibals, and they only come out at night, and they look really creepy, like really fleshy, pale people that are jumping through the trees in the darkness. It's pretty creepy. So I kind of want to get into this because it looks like a lot of fun. I have a feeling it'll really freak me out. So if I ever get hold of it, I'll probably live stream my first play of it and let people laugh at me. So
nice.
I'll that at some point as well.
Oh, that's
I'll see
always
if there's any
fun.
articles for the last section actually, and see when the release date is and stuff. I'll get back to you in a few about that. But that's my week in geek. So how about you, sir?
Okay, so based just on the WoW segment, since I found it.
Really, Ken? Really? You call that geek cred?
Ah, yes. That's what I say. So,
Okay.
we had another email coming in talking to us about our geek cred. So this one comes in, and the subject is, I've been screwed! Giggity.
Lucky you.
It says, I found out that when it goes from season to season in ranked mode for Hearthstone, it goes by the current rank, not the highest rank obtained. For example, the highest I was, 3-star level 11, and as quickly as I obtained it, I lost it to go all the way down to 0-star level 14. I was thinking I would get bonus stars for hitting 11, not 14, and out of this confusion, I only got 20 bonus stars. Lesai. I am greedy. After 1.5 weeks of League of Legends LCS Fantasy League, I have something to admit to the world. Oh god. We haven't even talked about this. I have never watched a single match of LCS. And picked my team based on the first week projections. I thought I was screwed, but midway into the week 2, I'm on the brink of being undefeated. Even after my mid-Kai from Cloud9 happened to have part of his lung removed before the second half of the season started. Just call me lucky. Next season, we should get a VTW LCS draft. That just coming in from our friend Cupcheck. So it's funny. I don't know if you've known about that, Ken, with what League of Legends has done and what's come up in now with a fantasy league, essentially. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, actually, I saw this on the forums. Maybe I think it was on the forums. So I did look into this a little bit. I've watched a match I think a couple times, but it's not something I follow. It's something I would like to follow. Like I kind of wish I had a dedicated channel almost. Maybe if I get like a Raspberry Pi one day, I'll make it just constantly stream like Twitch or whatever to try and watch it and have it hooked up to my TV. Like I'd like that, but I don't want to watch it on my computer. For some reason, that really puts me off.
You need more and more monitors, so it's just on the side while you're editing photos and stuff. That's when I watch it. And although I do have a computer set up so I can watch things on my television, and it's almost like, for my group locally, it's become, we watch LCS and all the different matches on League of Legends, almost like we would watch football matches, and it being that American football, on the weekends, like college ball or something like that, because some of those tournaments get as many views for a single match in League of Legends as professional, or not professional, but college-based football. And so with that in mind, that's a huge, huge following. And we've had parties where we just sit down and watch a bunch of LCS matches on my television, have some drinks, and kind of just talk about what we're seeing. And I know my cousin watches all of it. And so it's still a big thing. The reason, though, I was curious about if you'd known about this fantasy part of it, the Fantasy League, because essentially this is, we used to joke about, because fantasy football, where it's something that jocks or people who believe in football as being like the best thing ever come together to do role-playing essentially for football, because they're not playing but they're hoping their characters that they're running do well. And so it's kind of this joke that fantasy football is essentially the same as playing D&D or something like that. So because it by itself is such a geeky thing that you keep track of stats, the idea that they're making a fantasy league for League of Legends is even more of like, oh my god, how many layers of geek do we really need to have? Not only can I watch people play the game, can I play the game myself, but now I'm also going to make a fantasy league play of team members from various teams to take points on and do this whole
Wait till somebody
extra thing.
does cosplay of that.
That'd be ridiculous. So yeah, it's just this whole level of like, oh geez. But speaking of cosplay, actually, Kopii, thank you for giving us a taste, if you will, of your Jinx cosplay in the video wall, because... So not
wait,
Are you totally not? See, Ken, if you actually paid attention to the video wall, you would see things like Kopii currently showing off quite a lot of skin. Anyhow, in her Jinx cosplay, which I'm sure you'd appreciate because of all virtual characters, the one that you're like for. So thank you very much, Cupcheck, for talking to us about the such a silly concept, the League of Legends virtual, the fantasy league, just wrong, So. For my geek cred, because we are spending all of this show catching up and haven't taken a break yet, I'll try to get through this quickly. Oh, I can't. I'll have to finish it after the break. But
there's no rush.
No, so coming in, well, if Pusa were on, it's always her saying, "I need to pee. Hurry up, take a break." But to follow up on the Homestuck stuff I talked about, one of the things I wanted to focus on, because it's very geeky, is just the cosplay in general. So I went as Doc Scratch, and I thought I did an alright job. Some people seem to say I did pretty good. I don't know. It was my first time I didn't actually build a head. I just did myself all white face, like we had said. But I want to give shout out mainly to my friend Tay Ray, who I talked about before doing cosplay. because she came as the character Rose from Homestuck, and I had told her about the overall homecoming that we were doing in, it was like 2 days prior to the dance. And so because she cosplays for everything, in fact, she's right now at a photo shoot down at a train station somewhere. I was like, oh, I'll come dressed up. And I was like, really? Are you going to do a troll or something? You don't have horns. Don't do that. Do a human character. Well, she did. She showed up as Rose from Homestuck, looking, I would have to say, amazing. For her never having read the webcomic and just doing basically Google research on the characters to find out who she might have wanted to play, she did really, really good. And looking at other people even mentioned it where they were just like, wow, that is an awesome cosplay. You look great. And
Wow.
It's just funny to see someone who spends that kind of time doing cosplay all the time, how well they're able to pull out a new one out of their hat in 2 days. I was impressed. So good job, Tay-Ray. That was really, really epic. Follow-on thing which is that thank you, Kopii, for keeping me in check, because I thought I was going to lose my mind, because I got a random announcement that said that Phantasy Star Online 2 was now available in English. And I thought, what? It's coming to America! Yay! No, it's not. Apparently, they've just now released English language servers over in the Southeast, so in Asia still, and that they are banning people by their region based on their IPs and things. So I still cannot access the server, although I made an account, and so it's like I was so teased by it, and I was going to lose my mind until Kopii informed me that no, they're doing that to region lock the game. So, grr to you. Alright, with that, I'm going to take us to a break. We'll come back with a little bit more geek cred, because I got a little bit more to say, some toys that I've received. But as we go to the break, you're going to be listening to Because Ken, I Thought of You, a song from our friend Daryl Brewer, so the Brewmaster. A bit of a throwback. And so we'll be right back after this song from the Brewmaster. And I will talk a little bit more geek cred.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Audible. Audible.com is the leading provider of premium digital spoken audio information and entertainment on the Internet. With over 85,000 programs from more than 1,000 content providers, including leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazine and newspaper publishers, and business information providers. Audible customers can also have their Audible content wirelessly delivered to their smart mobile devices daily, even while sleeping, taking the computer out of the equation. To find out more, visit vtwproductions.com and click on the audible.com advertisement on the left-hand side, or visit audiblepodcast.com/vtwproductions. New customers in the United States and Canada will receive a free audiobook download when they sign up via that link. audiblepodcast.com/vtwproductions.
You're listening to Show X on vtwproductions.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. And yes, if people paying attention to the video feed or in live listening to the IRC, you'll see all the comments we were making about Kopie's cosplay, because good damn, best Jinx ever. You really you an epic job.
Away. That is absolutely
it's
amazing.
one of those that
I've actually looked up quite a lot of Jinx cosplay in the
No, of course you haven't done that, kid.
And yeah, and I am absolutely blown away. Honestly, the best Jinx cosplay I've ever seen.
Well,
you should put it on the YouTube feed, sir. Just throw it in front of my face or something.
I can't do it because it's on a different computer.
Ah, it's a shame.
That's why she needs to provide pictures. But the key thing that Kopii, I do want to give you the feedback on. Not only did you do all the pieces for like the wig and the bullets and stuff like that, but like you showed, the stitching in the top piece and all the materials was really epic. So your ability to catch all the details in a cosplay is really what does a great job and why yours are so good. So as much as you like to say you're amateur, I think you'd be surprised. If I was a photographer, I think I'd pretty much, well, I am a photographer, right? Anyhow, I would hire you for a shoot based on that con.
I mean, oh my god, that'd be perfect. It would look like real life movie of League of Legends.
Yeah, and that's not just like, going over because you're a member of VTW, but seriously, your cosplay is always amazing, Kopii. So good job. Many pluses towards that. So we are back, and I have more to talk about with my geek cred for the week because I have toys. Oh, Ken, I have some technology toys.
I saw the tweets and Snapchats and Facebooks.
So anyone who saw the initial one, I had one I teased that it's going to be the last thing I talk about because I've been waiting for
Kuro
it.
sent me some.
He sent you so many snaps. He was actually trolling me over the weekend with Snapchatting because he was sending snaps to you for me and cosplay, to me doing stuff with my new technology. I was just like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, I got to send this to Ken." I was like, "No, you don't. No, you don't."
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So he did. So you're welcome for that. He's so bad. So the things I got. One, we'll start out with the one that I already had, which is the Leap Motion. Anyone who doesn't know, the Leap Motion is the kind of IR, kind of like a Kinect controller that you set down in front of your keyboard that can see your hands. And in doing so, it can actually keep track of your fingers and hand position, things like that. It allows you to kind of almost get a virtual touchscreen experience with your PC. So it's really, really a great controller, except that nobody was really utilizing it well, and the actual original tracking software is kind of rough. You had a lot of difficulty when you rotated your hands upside down or did anything like that. Well, they are currently in beta with releasing a version 2 of the tracking software for the Leap Motion, and I played with it, got the beta. It is so much better. Oh my gosh, is it precise and fast. Yes, to the point where I almost want to show a video, but I really just tell people to go out and look up the videos for Leap Motion. I was tempted to run a live demo with it, but I was afraid what it would do the sound. Where you could see the hands just moving back and forth like, oh, it catches it so perfectly. It's really, really neat. So I'm excited to see what else I can do with that technology.
So tell us about it, everything. Tell us about it.
Well, so the Leap Motion, I've talked about before.
What can it be used for?
Essentially, like I say, it gives you that kind of, it knows where your hands are, so it's a dev kit, so it's really whatever people design, but just lets your imagination go wild with that, being that I can now use a Windows 8 interface, and not actually having to touch my non-touch monitor. I could wave my hand in front of the screen, and it could act as though I'm touching the monitor and give me that kind of touch interface, which is great. Also, there's the aspects where there's games you can play with it. One of the examples is Cut the Rope. I don't know if you've played that Android or iOS game, where it's the little creature that you have to feed candy by cutting little ropes that are attached to the candy. It swings around with physics, and you try to get it in his mouth while hitting little stars in the world. And it's stuff like that where instead of now having to use your mouse to do it, you just use your finger in the air and cut. One of the famous ones, which I don't have the demo for, is Fruit Ninja. Because now you truly feel like a ninja because you're swiping into the air like as you're killing all the fruit and avoiding the bombs.
Oh,
But
you
it's
told me
just,
that before. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
yeah, so it is a real neat interface, but it's really about what you choose to do with it, not the technology itself. The technology is just that it's got a great way of tracking your body to know what you're doing. Really, Kopii? Really? You're going to distract that much now with showing leg and everything as well? Why you do this? Trying to do a live show.
She's intentionally trying to distract us. That's
So
what she's
if
doing.
anyone is missing out on the video wall, trust me, today you are missing out. Yeah. Anyhow, back to the show.
Boots do actually look good as well. That is
This is why the video wall feed is on the laptop off to my side, so I can actually concentrate on the show as if Kopii, with the truly mischievous smile on her face, dancing around and bouncing in her cosplay like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Totally not trolling all the geeks on the video wall today. Anyhow, back to work. The other technologies I got, one of them is, it's on the laptop so this makes it harder, because now I see Kopii again, is the Tobii IX. Do you remember that, Ken, what the Tobii IX is, or that me talking about before from CES? Okay, so the Tobii IX, since you're shaking your head versus saying anything.
I'm trying to think, because you talked about so many different. I remember all the technology you've talked about, but I don't remember the names of them. So I'll probably remember as soon as you give you a quick description.
So the Tobii IX is a company I'd seen before. Yes, Kopii and IRC, Choli. Is a company that came out with another kind of another way of tracking our body and seeing what we're doing. But the IX specifically is looking at your eyes. And so you set it up and it sits either under your monitor or just above your keyboard on your laptop. And it's able to track with a little bit of calibration where you're looking at on your screen. So this is another one that if you imagine with the potential of what it could do with it, there's so many things out there. My favorite app being the one where you could just read text on a screen, and it would automatically scroll the text with wherever you're looking at it. So it's a very smooth reading kind of experience. It's one of the easiest ways I've ever read anything on a monitor.
That's quite impressive. And my phone has that, the Galaxy S3, but it's not a very good
Well,
system.
the one where if you're watching YouTube and you look away, it pauses for you?
Yeah, it has that, and also the text reading thing. The only problem is, it's not your eyes, it's like your whole head, so you have to basically look like nod, effectively, when you want to go up or down.
In order
So I've
for it
just
to
turned off
follow?
and just
Now this
looked
one
at
is,
someone's
and it's
video.
funny because I had Kuro check it out, and initially it wasn't calibrated correctly because it's for me. And then when I calibrated it, he looked at it and was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And it's not that it by itself is amazing, although the demos they provide had like one of the ones I'd seen several years back at the previous CES, where they first showed the technology, and they had an asteroids game where you're a little Earth planet in the middle, and you just look at the asteroids and a laser shoots from the planet to the asteroid to destroy it. And so Kuro got to play that a little bit, and he was just kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like this. And so it's a blending of just hardware with the idea of ways that you could use it to better your experience on your PC. You know, how you interact with your computer. And so I got that, and unfortunately, I was trying to do an unboxing video, and I was going so well with it until I realized I plugged it into my main PC, and it was like, nope, not going to work. I was like, what's going on? It requires, something I don't have, USB 3. And my old i7 laptop, or my old i7 motherboard does not have USB 3. And I went so far as recently trying to remedy that problem. So I went on Amazon and bought a bunch of USB 3s, one a USB 3 controller board, which you have to run through a PCI Express board or PCI. Yeah, basically any of the PCI Expresses it should work on. As well as a front panel thing for my computer that has card reader and an extra USB 3 and all this other stuff. So I was really ready, like USB. I got a 7-port USB 3 hub, so I was hoping to run the actual mic and everything through USB 3 to have more bandwidth. And come to find out, my motherboard just hates USB 3.
Oh, that sucks.
The
dude.
extra ports that I have just don't work. And so I can't use it, and they don't make a PCI or AGP or any other kind of connection for USB 3. So if it's not on your board or through PCI Express, you're done.
Is that the excuse you needed to go buy a new computer now? Is that what's going to happen?
No, I'm still not buying a new computer. That's too expensive. And I'm waiting for Intel to release new technology at the end of the year. But no, so I'm trying to hold off. But my laptop does have USB 3 because I bought that at the end of last year. And so I have it plugged in there, and that's where the demos were running. It's just annoying because my main PC doesn't. I was really going to try to do a dev thing where see if it could track my eyes enough to see how I was looking at all 3 monitors. Because one of the ideas there is I could just glance over at a button on Sam or something and hit a command button on the keyboard and have it work. Because that's one of the software built into it. Wherever you look, you just hit a command key on the keyboard and it does a mouse click. versus having to move your mouse around. So you can just look at something and click it. So brilliant! So many other ideas. So that's kind of cool. All right, those I just want to hint at because that's new technology. It's shiny, and I'm really not utilizing them to the power I could because I don't know how to program for worth a damn anymore. But I did get technology that I have been trying to utilize. And for those in the video wall, I like how you set that up, Kuroch. This is a heads up. I am going to show you specifically the technology I got. So, in the video wall, I'm going to switch the speed over to just my camera because I'm going to be totally narcissistic here. And now you can see again, in even the video wall, how I look over and I see well, I'll put it this way, jinxed up Kopii just standing there versus sitting in front of her computer saying, what? I don't know what you're talking about. But anyhow, I will take the camera over and you'll see what I teased with just a box shot, but sitting on my desk, which is kind of large. If you check it out in the video wall, it is my Robo 3D. And by Robo 3D, I mean...
No, that looks like just my face there, dude. That's all I see.
In the background of it, that's what Kuro set up. This is my 3D printer. I finally got it after ordering it basically 2 months ago and talking to the developers at, well, first online, just kind of saying, hey, where is it? And then going out and taking time to go to their booth at Makers Faire in California to again say, oh, here's all these amazing ideas for printing things if I only had my printer. They finally shipped it out to me with the upgrades that they've been putting into it. Specific, where the nice thing, and this is some of the big pluses I give to Robo 3D as a company and what they're doing with these 3D printers, is they're not just releasing the one model and being happy with it. They are specifically updating it with all these new features as they go ahead. And doing so, the printer I have now is better than the printer I ordered. And so this one's been upgraded now with an SD slot with LED lights to let you know it's on, and so you can kind of see what's being printed. As well as, what was the other things they did? Oh, the big one is auto leveling, a self-leveling base, and it's fun because Kuro got. I waited to unbox this specifically until Kuro got here, because he has a 3D printer he's been building for a while now. It's still not running, so I win in this one. I actually got something done and running before Kuro did. But so I wanted him to experience it with me, so we put together. It's nice because. Yes, I just pulled out the box because it's a fully assembled printer. It took very minor calibration. I did have to read some things online to figure out the best ways to print things off and get it off the print bed. I'm still suffering through that a little bit. But I have a 3D printer now, and it was very inexpensive for what it's capable of doing. The Robo 3D is one of the most probably effective, fully built printers on the market today. And I got it for essentially, it's an $800 printer. I think it might have gone up just a little bit because of the upgrades they've added. But it's got a heated bay, which means you can print in both ABS and PLA, the two main types of plastic out there, but the non-harmful PLA and the little more hardcore ABS plastic. It's kind of like PVC pipe. And go from there. So I wanted to show that I have been printing with it. So far, it's just been test prints. But the first thing I did, and it's on the video wall, is I did the little test cube. And so it's just a little, like, rectangular box that you print out to see how overall the calibration and the quality of the print is. And I'm just doing it at the medium setting, which is 0.2 micron, versus the high setting, which is 0.1 micron. It looks pretty good, and it's nice because I have validation with Kuro here because he's seen a lot of 3D printers, and he's actually been comparing different types to see how well they do. And he told me it actually came out looking pretty darn good, so that makes me happy. It's a little slow as a printer compared to some of the more expensive ones, but for the price, it's damn good. We then printed an overhang test, which is a set of steps that have holes in the middle of it on the back, so you can see how well your printer can print over gaps. And now when I did this one, I did it with a setting that allows it to print kind of gap filler or ways to build up from the bottom. And it does it smooth enough that if you grab pliers, you can usually crack out the pieces that don't need to be there. And so basically it builds up so that it always has a surface to build kind of things that lean over by themselves that would otherwise have a big gap under them. And print that out, which I tested finally, my third print that I did. And this one has some weirdness where I don't know if it's a software issue or something I didn't realize when I was setting up the print, but I went on Thingiverse. Was it Thingiverse? Yeah. I went on Thingiverse, which is a website where a lot of people post their own 3D models that you can then take in and print yourself. And because I downloaded an entire set of My Little Pony 3D models. And then so I wanted to print a real project, and so I started printing, and I don't know how well it really, well, I can see how it didn't work, but I don't know why yet. I have to investigate software. I started printing out Fluttershy because it was one of the less complex models I saw. Because like some of the other ones have wings that's like
sure, that's the reason.
Way out. Yep, I do love Fluttershy. And actually, my goal was to print this out, clean it up, and give it to my friend. Well, it's El Campo's daughter because she's really into My Little Pony. And I don't know which one she's missing, but if I could, I would have built this one and given her the Fluttershy that I printed and say, here you go. But I don't think I don't know what she had enough. But so I tried this one, and I'm holding in the video wall, but essentially what it printed was half of a head. Just the top half. And neither Kuro nor I are quite sure why. I need to look at the software and see if it had some issue slicing the model and what it was trying to do. But it printed it really tall as though it was at the height that the head was supposed to be at. But everything under the head was essentially supporting material and not the rest of the face or the body. So I don't know what the heck the printer did. Now it printed it enough that once I dug out all the plastic pieces that are the support structure, it actually looks, and you can see both eyes on the head. Because the head under the hair was initially like covered up by support material. So it works pretty good, and it's really darn sturdy plastic. I'm squeezing this stuff, and it's darn sturdy. But overall, just having a 3D printer now in amongst me, I'm really excited to see what I can do with it, and hopefully start becoming a maker and creating things and just going all over the top with that. I can't wait to see what I can do with a 3D printer. I'm truly jazzed and excited.
And doing the IRC says, when do we print the fro?
So yeah, if I get a 3D scan of my head and then try to do a replica bust of my face, that would be ridiculous. No, I'm not going to do that. I have the fro in person. Why would I need to print it? But no printing the fro. The Frosian is its own beast. And so
it probably cost all the plastic in the West anyway.
It is not that bad. Oh, another thing I got to give bonus to Robo 3D as a company. They gave me so much base PLA printing material. It was like 300 grams, I think. Where normally when you buy a full spool, which I have for the ABS, you buy it by the overall kilogram. And so this is essentially 0.3 kilograms, so a third of it, just under. Where a lot of companies barely give you enough to do the first test prints. I've printed like 3 objects here that are plus or minus how good they are size, but worked really well, and I still have a ton of PLA left. And so I'm really happy that this company is doing as well as they are. I hope they do amazing. So yeah, it's really great. Kopii throws into the IRC as well as saying everybody gets a Frosian. So I'll tell you, if I ever go so far as to scan my head, actually I could probably do that. Kuro, we might have a project after the show. Well, I was going to say Snap 123, the one from Autodesk or whatever. We might have to use that and see if you can actually capture a 3D image of my head. If so, maybe I will pick out the fro and see if I can get a 3D scan. And if so, maybe I will make some kind of representation of myself in 3D space. And for a contest or something, maybe that could be a prize. The Frosian or something could be a trophy that we make on Show X. I don't know, it sounds horrible. I should just stop. But
that sounds amazing, actually. That sounds fantastic. The winner of our contest of the whole year, whoever has the most wins, gets a Frosian plastic.
Gets a Frosian print.
That would be so
3D printed
amazing.
Frosian from DocDead, and I will ship it around the world, unlike companies that say they can only do it to the US or Canada. Screw it. It's my money. We don't get paid here on ShowX. I'll just ship it wherever I'm willing to ship it.
Fair enough.
What am I doing? I'm setting myself up for crap I'm not even ready to do.
I know, hey, I was going to give you experience to get ready to do printing stuff though, isn't it?
I'm learning, and the thing is, this is a project because next week's normal. The following week, and this is one where Ken, you'll probably have to do a solo show again, or if I can get it all set up from, well, thankfully we've got all the keys updated, right? But if I can send it from the hotel, because actually the hotel we got specifically for Denver Comic Con, Kuro and I picked it out specifically because it has internet included, and it should be fast enough to do the show, and I'll have my laptop set up, so we might be able to do it. I just have to see if there's any conflicts on Sunday when we go to Comic Con. So next week's open, other than some stuff I have to do on the weekend, but I have to finish my cosplay so bad, and one of the pieces I have to do that I was relying on this 3D printer getting here for is I have to print the belt buckles that I'm going to use on my Storm cosplay. The thing that's going to hold the belt, which I don't have the material for, and the clasp that I'm going to use for the shoulder pieces that I'm going to hold the cape on with, which I still don't know how I'm going to fully do. I was going to print those out versus having to make them out of wood or something, as well as I'm going to work on cosplay later today for my friend who's doing a female version of Ash from Evil Dead, and we're working on the, actually that's something I need to do soon. We're working on the chainsaw that Ash replaces his hand with, and so I've got it mostly built, but there's some detail pieces that I need to do, and the best way to do it would be to print, and so that's probably one of the projects I'll work on here shortly. Anyhow, so that's what I've been doing geeky. I'm really, really excited because I have a 3D printer now. It's
that's
like,
awesome.
This has been one of my
jealous.
dreams for I don't know how long, and I have one, and it kind of works, and I still need to learn it, but yeah, I got 3D
You know,
printer.
I have no reason to have one. There's nothing I would actually do. I don't do cosplay. I don't.
You
make
say
figurines, I
that,
don't do
but
anything.
dude, the things that you can make, that you can fix, that you can do anything with, it's amazing. I need to go back to showing everything.
I don't fix things either. I just exist. That's all I do. You know, I don't do anything like that. So I don't know. Actually, there's one thing that I've got a job for you. Sir. I've got something you can do. My guitar, right?
Yes.
I've got like 4 or 5 guitars. One of my electric guitars. The problem with it is that one of the pegs fell off because I had it on the hardwood floor for some stupid reason, and it slipped and it fell, and one of the little bits fell off, and there's no way to get it back on. So if you could make me a whole one, or just a little bit to fit into it, I could fix that again. And I used to have a mandolin where the bridge broke as well, and I just threw it away because I couldn't fix it. So you're right. If I had
but that's the thing. A 3D printer is now at that point where you can start doing these projects. I've already come up with. I honestly, randomly, I was filling up the air on my truck the other day with my air compressor in my garage because I was going on some distance drives for these track days and stuff. Which, by the way, I went to the track. I already told you I drove around in a Porsche 911. That thing was amazing.
That's awesome.
God, that thing was so fast. Anyhow, when I was filling up my truck to drive down there, I accidentally pulled over my air compressor. Yeah, I was just at the edge of the cord, and I thought I had more air hose for it, and it pulled it over. And in doing so, it actually broke what I had sitting on it, which was one of these sets of sound deadening headphones. So it's just a safety headphone. It's not actually music or anything like that. It just blocks sound. But it broke one of the ear cups off because it broke the plastic piece around it. Now I'm looking at well, crap, now I have to go buy new ones. Or I could just look at that earpiece thing that I had and print a new one and put that on there and be done with it. Isn't that a nice thought? So, yeah, there's so many things you can do. Kerr and I were looking where, my video connection died on the Google Plus. Evil. That's a total
You're missing because Kopie's doing
She just got naked now, right? Exactly. I understand, and I'm totally missing it.
Just see what she's doing, man. It's crazy stuff.
No, I got back in. It was one of those where it totally canceled me out for inactivity because I don't have the sound on, so it does that. It doesn't give me the doot. Are you still there? So, nope. Kopie's back on the screen. All is saved. So now that we've been talking about all the things we've been up to, because we're that important, not narcissistic at all. Let's maybe talk for a minute, if that, about some things that are in the news and what's been going on. Now, admittedly, I've been so busy I haven't been following the latest news, so we'll see what's in my deck of old stuff. But let's go ahead and transition things over to say, let's talk about the news for a change and start talking with a little bit of
Technology, news, and more today on the Geekoscope.
So, Ken, would you like to lead us off in the Geekoscope this week?
Sure, first thing, Kopii, do you ever get weirded out just surprising, hearing your own voice come through the podcast
Josh,
like that?
Don't talk to her about that. She always tells me how much she hates her voice and how she never wants to do things for us
she has
again.
to do more. Speaking of
I know, speaking of which.
So, you remember that intro copy that everybody else sent in the voice parts for and you haven't yet? Just saying, wouldn't it be cool if you did that? We'd love you more.
Yes, not that we don't love you now, but just Kopii, think of all the praise the show would give you if you helped us get a new up-to-date intro.
I don't know, we've given her quite a lot today already. I don't know if we can actually give her any more.
Hey. Just saying. It's a simple mic check. You just open up a mic with any recording program. Audacity's free, and it's what we use to edit the show. If you could just jump in there, record some of you just talking randomly, maybe the actual, sound or the script that Ken provided to say, hey, wouldn't this work with this new intro we're doing? And we could get your lovely voice on more of the show, including a new intro, because Ken's no longer a student. And I swear I got rid of that windowless van a long time ago.
Sure you did. The background we see on Kopie's webcam is actually your dungeon, isn't it?
If,
we'll give
if
you
that
food if
no,
you put this
come on,
on.
Ken. If that were my dungeon and Kopii was cosplaying like this, I'm sorry, but the show would not be happening right now. Or I will say it would be a solo show.
Okay. We're being bad. So the first thing I'd like to mention is something that I was actually given to me by, I believe it was Cupcheck, so thank you very much for that, sir. This is an announcement of Diablo. So I know I don't play it, and so I can't really speak
Hey,
too
my
much about this
cousin's
with
been playing the
knowledge.
bejesus out of that game. He loves it since they changed it to basically be like Torchlight 2.
That's exactly why I want to talk about it. There's so many people that come back into it, so it's definitely worth putting forward. So Travis Day, one of the game designers, went to the forums under the general discussion in the community board and said with the title, Anniversary Buff Update. So he says, I come bearing exciting news. Due to the overwhelming popularity of our anniversary buff, we have decided to keep the increased legendary drop rate once the 2-year anniversary celebration ends. Once the buff is disabled tomorrow morning, you will find that the new baseline drop rates for legendary items will be the same as those you have enjoyed for the last week. Happy hunting and link the loot. So that means basically the game is going to be a little bit easier and continue to be easier. So you
More
understand
fat
what we do is for
loots.
yeah, here's free epics for all. In fact, legendaries for all. So I don't know what the rates are like. Maybe it went from 0.2 to 0.3. You know, it might be minimal, or it could be 1% to 50. I don't know. But regardless, fact is that they made the game at least a little bit easier. And it's interesting they've done that because that's something Blizzard have kind of become known for over the years as we know World of Warcraft. Making the game more accessible and requiring less time to get to the maximum level or maximum
Accessible,
level, etc.
quote unquote.
So, it's interesting that they've done that. So what are your views on it, sir?
Oh, thankfully I don't play the games. I don't have to worry about it. It's one of those. It's just like everything. You know, I don't mind in games like this if it's one that's a single-player game. So it's like, yeah. And since they finally got rid of the real-world auction house and all that nonsense that they've been doing, then it's fine. Do what you want. Make it easier for people to play if that's what makes them enjoy the game. It's a single-player game essentially. The multiplayer is kind of silly on it. Most people I know who play mostly single anyways, and it's cooperative, so it doesn't really matter how much loot you give them, how quickly. As long as you don't give them like fat epics they can use at low levels so that they carry the same weapon for the entire like 3 or 4 times they're going to play through the story, then you're fine. But yeah, it's whatever. It's fine. And it's just funny that they're reacting this way because they're like, oh, we did this holiday thing, but it's so good we're going to keep it. Versus like, oh, maybe your drop rates were too short in the beginning and people were getting bored. I don't know. It's nothing to me.
Okay, fair enough. That is fair enough. I've always been interested in going and trying Diablo because I never played number 2 that much. I played it once with the VW guys like a year ago, but you know I wasn't there when it was a thing, so I didn't really care about it so much, you know. But I feel I could go back and enjoy Diablo 3. However, people are saying it's more like Torchlight, and that's great. But I didn't like Torchlight. That's one of those weird things. With
What?
I know, right? I know. It's just. It's one of those few games that everybody likes that I don't, and it's like the guys who
somehow
don't Star Wars,
Kuro's
don't Lord of the
like
Rings, I know.
agreeing with you over here. What's wrong with you guys?
I know, but I want to try it at some point. So maybe once there's a big discount one day, way into the future, I'll go and get it and see what it's like. Because I would like to play it and see what all the big deal is. I'm sure I'll enjoy it once I get into it. But looking at it right now, it just doesn't seem to be calling.
Well,
for me,
even
so
with
we'll see.
the updates, I'm not interested in Diablo 3 yet. I mean, it'd have to be on a serious sale, like half off or something, before I even really paid attention.
Yeah, that's kind of the same with me. So we'll wait and see. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll by keeping an eye on it. I hope somebody will tell me because I won't actually be keeping an eye on it. Okay.
Someone please let ShowX know if ever Diablo 3 goes on a ridiculous sales spree, in which case we may check it out. Until then, don't expect much.
EG free. That'd be good.
That's funny.
All right. So
What do I have? I'm trying to look through the ones. So there's so many little ones in here. There's an article that's in here from Battlefield 4 talking about they did an update that allows people to do squad joins now, because it used to be you join a squad and you hoped you were on the same team. Now it's one where it actually you can really load up as the same team, which makes too much sense. I won't go into any detail on that because that's all you need to know. One of the ones that you've been playing with and a few other people is this article that talked about from Engadget. A little bit old now, but it's relevant still if people haven't checked out, which is about the Steam streaming service. The fact that the beta went open to everybody, you no longer have to just get invited into it. Anyone with Steam, if you switch up to the beta side, can do streaming. And everyone I know, well, I think, Ken, have you played with it at all? Because I know Kuro has.
Yep. I've now played with it. I tried putting Skyrim with 80-odd mods installed. I played it on my computer. Started up. I had a couple problems starting up, but I think it's because Skyrim has that splash screen that comes up. So that kind of messed with it a little bit. It only took like 1 minute of trying to restart it and stuff to make it work, so it was fine. Just the program, not the computer or anything. And then I turned it on. I had a little bit of problem trying to link them together. I thought there might be an option somewhere. You had to click to make it happen. It turns out you have to opt into the beta. I didn't
you have to opt into the beta, and you have to be able to log in on the beta side on both machines.
That's what I was going to say. I was opted in on my gaming PC, but not on the Mac, so I was wondering why they weren't linked. But when I turned it on the Mac, instantly it just popped up saying, hey, you're now connected with 2 machines in the same Wi-Fi. Do you want to do anything? And so I went into my Steam library on my Mac, and I saw all my Windows games there. And when you clicked on it, instead of saying play game, it said stream game.
The option is streaming.
That's pretty cool.
Doesn't it just instantly hit you? Like, oh, that's sexy.
Yeah, it did. It really did. And so I clicked to open on my Mac, and I saw it pop open on my PC, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And once I resolved the issues, it popped up, and I was watching on both my Mac and my Windows PC, which is a weird thing having the
because it's actually playing the game on your main PC, whichever one that is where it's actually playing and rendering. All it's sending to and from across the link is your commands and the video feed from the game.
Which is insane. I didn't actually realize it showed it on the gaming PC. I thought it would just like hide it and have it minimized or something, but it actually has it up and showing. Don't know if I like that. I think I'd prefer it if it was in the background, maybe just as a big process, you know? But I suppose that's the best way of making sure that it runs smoothly, because in the same settings as it is currently, you know? So anyway, got that going, and I gotta say, there was no lag, there was no problems. At the start, well, to be fair, I'm lying slightly. At the very start, when I actually continue, the game itself loaded up, not just the menus, and I was actually in-game. The textures were disgusting for about 3 seconds, until it
until it actually buffers up and gets the full resolution to you.
Yeah, but once it was done, I was playing it, I was running around, I was shooting bad guys. I went to this battlefield, so one of the mods I had installed was there's random battlefiels between the 2 factions all around the landscape. So I went down to a random battlefield, there was about 50 guys there, which is pretty hard processing as it is normally, and it was fine. Absolutely fine, no problem. So I was blown away by it, it was absolutely beautiful. So it means that I can have my gaming PC on through here, go through and relax in bed and play gaming, like proper hardcore gaming. However, I am curious, I don't know if anybody knows, or if you know actually, sir, does this work with external Steam games? Like, for example, League of Legends or...
It kind of works. And so that's the key. The Steam games are built in directly. It actually works pretty darn good. External ones, it's kind of questionable as how well it works, but it can. If it shows up in the Steam library, you can try to run it. Now, I haven't played it much recently. I haven't played with it more, but there were certain games I was just having trouble with, and I was trying to get like a controller to work from my living room, so I was playing on the television, where I could have played like Sonic Generations and things like that, but I wasn't able to get the controller input to work right. So there's still some bugs, still some issues. It's not a one-to-one experience, but it's so good. Just like you're saying, being able to take like a laptop into bed and play whatever game, and it doesn't even have to be a gaming one, because I know people who've played this like on Macs, like you've done, on people who've played it on just little cheap, you name it, kind of machines. And the thing is, like, my PC behind my television is so cheap and old. The fact that it was able to stream Left 4 Dead at 1080p fully gorgeous was so nice that I believe Valve figured something out with their streaming technology. It's really, really good.
No, they definitely did something absolutely amazing here, and I am quite blown away, because this is completely new, and you know, this changes the market completely. This completely and utterly changes it, to the point where everybody else is going to be affected by this, because, you know, it means that there's no longer Mac-incompatible games. There's no longer just games are
as long as you have a gaming PC, right? And so that's kind of it. As long as you have a gaming PC, then yes.
Exactly. Well, even then, it doesn't have to be a gaming PC. You can just have a Windows machine running on a Raspberry Pi, and if you want to play, like,
that's the key. You can have
something that's just Windows compatible but doesn't, like, you know, cost much to do. You can do that, you know.
Well, and it works though. It works across Linux. It works on Mac. It works on Windows, and so your external box can be whatever cheap Linux, you know, kind of box, like you said, Raspberry Pi perhaps, that you could ever want, as long as you're. That might not work yet. The little microcomputers maybe not yet. But if you get just a cheap whatever, you're right. I can't read what it says. But I do see the face expression where that has.
So it's a friend of
mine. There you go. And I like that he's got the Timo hat on.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. He's one of the top guys in Europe, actually, for LoL. It used to be last year. He was in the top 20 players in Europe. He wasn't actually doing anything like officially, he just did ranked matches and played around a while. He was in Diamond League. And yeah, in case anybody's not on the video wall, it said, did I tell you I got tickets to LCS in Wembley? Hashtag yes. So I'm
go
very jealous of that.
Go with. Try to get in there, because Ken, if you haven't been to a live League of Legends event like I did at PAX Prime, it is quite a memorable experience. It's kind of interesting. I like how you're snapping him back with the fact that you're on the show.
Yeah. I called him a bastard. I'm asking if he's got a spare ticket.
Hell yeah, because it is so worth going. You should check it out. But no,
Definitely.
so I had to throw this up about the Steam beta because it's something that we've talked about in the past, but letting everybody know just for sure that this is now open to everybody. I highly advertise that you should go check it out. If you've got multiple computers and only one of them is really your gaming PC, you should at least just check it out on your other PC as you link the two accounts, what it's like to have it. Plus, the advantage of the beta is it means that now you can be logged in on the same account on multiple computers because you're in the beta. Where previously you could only have the same account on one.
Yeah, and that's pretty damn cool as well. It's useful. I know it's very useful for me because I quite often have my gaming PC on all the time and I don't do anything with it, but I happen to be logged in Steam. Then say I go visit my parents or I take my Mac anywhere else and I just want to play a single player game or something. It's like, nope, you currently weren't logged in when you were last logged in, so no, can't do that. Not happening. And I have to remote into my computer, log off, yada yada yada.
Oh, that's
What a
annoying.
mistake, no? So it's good that they finally did that anyway. So
Yeah, so it's one of those, I
I'll go
just
for
turned the beta on everything.
That's probably the best way to do it, I'd agree. So that is very cool. Shall I steal one? Let's see. Watch Dogs. Got a couple articles about this, and this is kind of a popular topic as of late. First of all, I'm going to go for the bad one, then the good one. The good and the bad, and the ugly. Watch Dogs becomes... no, wrong one. Watch Dogs is now known as being a kind of shoddy game to play on the PC. The reason for this is, well, as it says here, players who purchase Watch Dogs on PC are experiencing a range of performance issues. I'm getting, oh jeez, I hate when they play videos in the background. Don't you hate that? You get all confused and flustered, and you're like, what's going on?
You start hearing things to yourself, you're like, wait, what is that?
Oh no, I was afraid it was going to the
That's why,
stream for a second.
well, that's why I mute all my sounds when I'm doing the show, so I don't have to hear
There you
anything
go.
random come up where I'm just like, ah.
Several users on Watch Dogs' Steam listing page expressed concern that the game doesn't run well on PCs with AMD components. Other users experienced stuttering graphics, misaligned audio cues, and frequent crashes, despite having rigs that meet the Watch Dogs PC requirements. The Digital Foundry's Watch Dogs performance analysis confirmed the presence of stutters and tears in the PC version, even with powerful gaming hardware. And that is a quote at the end there. Digital Foundry also confirmed that the problems are much worse on AMD cards than on NVIDIA. Well, that's good at least because I've got NVIDIA. Especially the stutter effect. The performance analysis does indicate, however, that adjusting texture quality mitigates negative effects more than changing graphical presets. Despite the problems plaguing the PC version and the issues players are having with the Uplay authentication as well, so that's another problem they're having. Watch Dogs is Ubisoft's fastest selling game ever, selling more copies in its first 24 hours than any of the company's previous titles, which is pretty impressive. They say that I once said that the buzz around Watch Dogs was driven by the incredible passion of our early fans, said creative director Jonathan Moran. Today we broke a record for the first day sales. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty impressive that they've actually managed to do that, because Ubisoft, while a big company, they're not the biggest, you know. So Watch Dogs, I know, I've been excited about it. It has had a lot of press, and like they're saying, a lot of the people who actually are interested in it have been saying online, oh man, I can't wait. Even on Funny Junk and stuff, people are putting out loads of quotes from it and likes and screenshots. So there is a lot of press coming from official and non-official sources. So I can see why there's a lot of buzz and why there's been so many sales. So let's certainly hope that the massive influx of sales that they've had fix the issues in promptly.
Well, it's one of those things, when you talk about the performance issues, I know that Total Biscuit on his WTF even talked about how it's one of the more inconsistent games out there right now, which is weird. That, you know, some setups they say work perfectly well, other ones it seems to randomly, like, just not handle it. And so there's a lot of questions as to basically the overall assumption is they just didn't do a whole lot of optimization right now for that game yet. And there's a lot of room for improvement, so hopefully we'll see that.
I agree. So that's Watch Dogs. I know I'm still looking forward to it. It doesn't really change my perspective on whether I should get it or not, because mainly because I have it in video cards, it doesn't affect me. But the company should get on that, especially with the large amount of sales they're getting, because now they have the funds to fix it. They don't have an excuse, you know.
Well, hopefully, because yeah, that's just one of those things that you need your game to run like good. They touted it as one of those newer PC games that actually can run at 4K. But you can't run at 4K if you have like inconsistent performance across different hardware. That just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but we'll see. Like I said, I bet in the next few weeks they'll have most of the major issues fixed, unless it's something, you know, severely wrong with the core game itself. For example, World of Warcraft has those issues with my graphics card that cannot be fixed because it's internal to the game itself and to the graphics card specifically. So there's nothing, it can't be fixed in an update or a hot fix, you know. So hopefully these ones can be. I'm still gonna get it, I think. I'm still gonna go for it.
I'm looking forward to a article that I actually have up, but I have to review it because Octil is writing his review of what he thinks about Watch Dogs, and so hopefully we'll see that go live here on the site in the next day or two. Now, I need to read through it to get my comments back, but he's got a whole dissertation about the way he reviews games when looking at Watch Dogs. Now, I won't give a teaser, but I'll say he does break it out to, I think he has like 4 pages of information about it, so... It's I've heard to be a great game. I am still very curious about it. It's not something I need to pick up right now because I've got so many other things to play, but it is pretty darn cool. And look,
Definitely.
we just had a Gnomewise enter the IRC saying Narf! So good to see you, Mr. Gnome. That only can tell me that it harkens to us having a Casually Hardcore coming up to you in about 12 minutes as soon as we get off the air. So check out the Alpha Geek Radio show of Casually Hardcore just after us.
Indeed. All right, sir. Well, have you got an article you wanna share to the masses?
What else do I care about here? So we talked about the Steam streaming. Well, no, that's not what I care about. The problem is there's so many ones that are a little old that I had. I had some newer ones, I guess, but I should really go through the old archive, essentially, of all these things I've picked up over the shows and see if there's any of these that are really still relevant. One of them that's come up that we keep talking about here in the US Net right now, which is actually one of the more recent ones I picked up, was net neutrality. It continues to rear its ugly head. And so this article, coming to us as I aggregate through News 360, but actually coming from Newsmax, says expert Amamori net neutrality plan would end internet as we know it.
Yep.
And so this is a little old because there were basically some votes already coming up about how the FCC here in the United States was looking at net neutrality and trying to essentially reinstitute rules that would not actually provide net neutrality, but instead work against it and allow companies to provide essentially what people are calling internet fast lanes, paying extra money for specifically more bandwidth for different types of applications or data. And this is something that most people, the consumers, are up in arms about because they want net neutrality, which is the concept of being able to have all the data act as data and not prioritize it based on what's in the data or who's asking for it faster. That way everyone has an equal share of the bandwidth that is the internet. The fear being that people would then slow down traffic if they're not paying for primary stuff, and so that big companies would have all the advantage while small companies would then not be able to afford to pay for faster internet and therefore be looked down upon from the global market. So in this, it talked about back in April, so again, it's been a while. Tom Wheeler, the chairman of the FCC, announced to the world that he would propose new rules for net neutrality, the guiding principle that preserves the free and open internet. His proposal, scheduled for the middle of May, was to allow internet service providers to charge web services to prioritize their traffic, creating fast lanes, where the biggest companies would be able to afford to push content in slow lanes where others would not. It came out saying that this proposal would literally crush the kind of innovation we see on the internet today, where you would need permission or a lot of money to just start a website or to start a new media outlet. Those of you who live on the internet, imagine if this rule had been around 10 years ago, we still might be using MySpace in Alta Vista. Wow, that's some throwback.
Yeah.
Essentially, this has been gotten around by some companies like Netflix who have paid these premium services prices today for companies like Comcast in order to make sure they can get all their data as fast as possible to Comcast subscribers that pay for Netflix. So this is just kind of that cautionary tale to throw out there again, that at least here in the United States is happening very directly, where we have our government entities being lobbied, honestly, a lot of money thrown at politicians and being dirty, but being expressed that they need to allow corporations to basically own more of the things that we use in what should probably be considered a service in the United States versus a luxury, something that they should provide because everyone today really does need the internet. So I don't know, it's something that I don't know how well this affects anyone outside of the internet, other than if we create fast lanes in the US, you might get all your data slow unless you play the game as well. But it just seems wrong. I don't want... an ISP is supposed to be an internet service provider, meaning they just provide me an access to the internet for the price that they provide and the speed that I'm paying for. It should not be for them to shape or decide what data I get, when I get it, how I get it. Screw that.
Definitely
They're there is just to give me a plug, a connection, a way into the internet. I really don't want anything else from my network provider. I wish they would provide less and be cheaper and just give me fast speeds than try to throw all this other crap on the top end of it. And so net neutrality is something that I think absolutely needs to exist, and we need to basically say that bits are bits, no matter where they come from or where they go on the internet, and stop allowing people to try to set up these roadblocks, because all it benefits is corporations, not us consumers.
Yeah, what they should do is improve general internet anyway. If they just put more money into actually improving the internet so that maybe everybody has a gigabit line or there's more fiber optic everywhere, that kind of thing would benefit the corporations and the users, and they'd make more money if they went ahead and did that before the other companies. That's what they should be doing for in competition. They should actually be playing with the current rules rather than trying to change the rules.
Well, and something where Paz mentions it in the IRC and says it quite right, where he says, basically net neutrality is basically dead now. FCC got paid off. But the bigger piece that says all the other countries are laughing at us. Now, it's neat to see your response in there, Ken, about how, you're scared of this as well, because I don't know how what we do here in the U.S. really affects the rest of the world when it comes to the internet, other than we host a lot of the internet here in the United States. We have a lot of websites and content here in the U.S., and I can only imagine it would affect you as well.
Yep, no doubt. Undoubtedly. Okay, VTW would be affected for a start. That's quite a big one. Funny Junk would be affected. Facebook, we use facebook.com, that would be affected. We don't use .co.uk.
Oh,
Google,
well, I was going to say,
Mail.
Facebook will pay for it, so they'll get their access.
But my point is, there are so many websites I do use, and that's just the top of my head. There's going to be thousands and thousands of websites that everybody uses that are hosted in the US. You know what it's going to mean? It doesn't mean they're going to pay more. It means they're going to host outside the US. They'd host their servers elsewhere.
That would be smart, because honestly, why would you... I don't know why most countries even play with the United States other than having to get access to some content that only we have.
Bankrupt U.S. server farms.
And so, yeah, as Kuro's putting out there, it could bankrupt U.S. server farms. It's just...
For example, what if HP just moved out of the US because they said, screw this, bye.
Yeah, it's not worth working with anymore. We're not going to play with you guys anymore because you're terrible. Yeah, so, and that's what Kuro's throwing out there, is that the big companies can move internationally. There are already entities that exist all over the world. They could take their headquarters and all the money and just get out of the United States. I don't understand why we haven't here in the U.S. just decided that, internet access is a service that everybody needs at least it. The only good positive note I saw, and I don't know if I might have emailed the show, but I don't think I put it in the notes yet, is that the FCC, for one good thing, is looking at potentially changing the definition of broadband to actually make it faster, because right now the definition sits at like 2 megabits per second or even less than that.
Yeah.
And well, no, it's actually 768K or something like that. But they're looking at upping it to at least 5 megabit down to be truly considered broadband, which is smart, because that way the marketing people will say, no, this is what broadband is. But I want them to go further and say, no, everybody should be given access to the internet without having to pay exorbitant fees. And the only thing we can do from an open marketplace right now is say, hey, Google, I know you listen to the show here. I know you listen to all the shows on VTWProductions.com because we're that good. Google, you really need to come to Denver and provide your fiber internet here and on business class in a reasonable amount so that we can get in there and really have an open internet, not have to worry about all the conglomerates out there like Time Warner, which has been bought up or was going to be by Comcast and all the other things with ISPs. Let them just provide us data and have you be the one showing it how it can be done.
This might be the upbringing of small independent ISPs.
Oh, so yeah, Crow's bringing up the idea that you could have smaller ISPs that service local areas that could get access.
Yep.
As long as they get access to the bandwidth, then they could do whatever they need to. If they can get to the backbone, they could do everything, and that's something I'd looked at, but unfortunately it's still set up where they need to go in and go to the main hubs, to the main companies to get any access, so it's a big mess. And yes, there with this, I'm pretty sure that the NSA is listening more than, I'm assuming GTL being Google, but I'm not sure. I can't comment on the NSA, so I'll leave that alone.
Indeed. I can though. Next up, The Sims 4 makes building a home quicker and easier. The Sims 4 has received a new trailer, this time showing off the wealth of changes to hit build mode in a bid to make it faster and more flexible, which is good, because I remember in the past, whenever you change modes, there'd be a lag time, and that was always quite frustrating, because you'd want to do all that you can in each mode before you have to go over again, so it doesn't lag. So it's good that they're focusing on that. I've not actually seen the trailer myself yet, but the graphics do look quite beautiful as well, from the screenshot there. This is all from IGN, by the way, so of all my articles today anyway. The video, which you can see on this article, if you type in IGN Sims 4 making building a home, it'll be there into Google. It follows on from the first trailer for the game, which detailed character creation. In much the same way, build mode has been overhauled to try and allow more variety than ever before. Oh jeez, there's been too much in my opinion. While providing you with tools to achieve your aims quicker. Because I'm too logical and not creative about it. I want to, I have a toilet, I have a shower, I have a place to relax.
You don't have 18 shower heads? What?
No, I don't do any styling. I don't give a crap. Like, there just has to be paint on the walls, then I'm happy, and then I hide them. I don't give a crap. I just want it to get to the top of the career tree, and then I'm done.
More money, more win. I got you.
I'm min-maxing it effectively. I don't care about all the side quests, you know. That's my goal in The Sims anyway. I know it's a bit silly, but that's what I do. Occasionally.
Yeah, no. The whole point of a sandbox game like The Sims is to play it how you have fun with it. So just go with it.
That's true. So I don't really care about that. Resizing these rooms, building a home begins by either placing walls or entire rooms, then pushing or pulling them into shape. Fully furnished traditional rooms in a range of styles will be available in a bid to speed up the process. Yes, that's what I care about. Well done. Resizing these rooms will cause the game to intelligently redistribute furniture so nothing gets in the way. It looks seriously speedy. That's pretty smart. I'm so glad they're doing this. It's a new aspect of The Sims completely. Other changes will include the ability to set walls at 3 different heights, that's kind of cool I guess, and intelligently install windows across the entire room with a single click. Yes! You can also move the windows around, reshape the roof, and add foundations to your convenience. Terrain painting also features, so if you're keen to create flower beds and the like, you're in luck. The Sims 4 is at E3 next month, so we'll see how that goes as well.
Yes, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what we're going to get at E3. Now, the key here is we have run up against time, Ken. It is time for us to end the show. So could you please very quickly give everybody the outs and ins of where they need to find us and what they need to do so that we can get ready to pass them on to Alpha Geek Radio and Casually Hardcore.
To find us on Twitter, go to twitter.com/VTWShowX or /DogDead or /GoX to find us there. You can also go to Facebook and type in ShowX in the search bar at the top. You will find us there. Give us a like. We appreciate it. Go along to the forums. Go to VTWRussians.com. Hit forums at the top. Go into the ShowX board. In there you'll find 3 different art contests. Go take part. I personally will very much appreciate it, and so will Wayne. Send in emails to the show at showx@VTWRussians.com. And you can also check us out on Google+, download other podcasts on the show, and do all these other things that we all very much appreciate. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for having on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, Ken. Good job closing us. You've been listening to ShowX on VTWReproductions.com. We are done, and goodbye.
Goodbye. See you next zombie.
Did you like that?
That was...
Good night. Also, God.